Hello and welcome. I'm Christy Flynn. I'm the Chief Essential Oil Educator at the National Integrated Health Associates. And we're here tonight. We're going to talk about some of the 24 oils and ways that you can use essential oils for your pregnancy and labor and delivery and even beyond. So I want to get started quickly and jump right into what are essential oils. And as you can see, essential oils are really just these natural compounds found in plants. It's sort of the plant's immune system, if you will, and it provides plants with protection. So they're very clean. The oils absorb very quickly into the skin. They're surprisingly not like what you would think of like coconut oil or olive oil, how it leaves that residue on the skin. They absorb very, very quickly into the bloodstream. So essential oils, a lot of people are familiar with herbs, so they've used herbs as medicine, like maybe you've used peppermint tea to soothe, or ginger to soothe an upset stomach. And actually the peppermint, 1 drop of peppermint essential oil is the equivalent of 28 cups of peppermint tea. So they're very, very concentrated, and really when we say it's 1 to 2 drops is a dose, that is truly all you need. And often when it's yourself or children, babies, you can even dilute that 1 drop with some coconut oil or MCT oil or something like that. So the other great thing about essential oils is that they are able to penetrate the cell wall. So a lot of times we take or are given antibiotics, for instance, to knock out a bacterial infection, but as most people know, that the antibiotics are not going to do much for a virus because the viruses actually hide out inside the cell, and the oils are not able to get inside there. The antibiotics are not able to get inside the cell, so that's why we typically can't do much for a virus. But that's not the case with essential oils. They actually have a lipid membrane, and they're able to penetrate the cell wall. So they're antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal. They're really able to work in a lot of different capacities. And they work well with our own body chemistry. All right. So doTERRA, I actually have been a health and nutrition coach for quite some time, and I had never, up until recently now, brought essential oils into my coaching practice. And mostly that was because I had, the results I had experienced had sort of been inconsistent. I think I had only ever sent a client to Whole Foods, and I'm like, well, try some lavender, and it's very relaxing in a bath, and it's great for a massage, but I really never tried to implement them very much as medicine. It didn't occur to me that they could be that powerful and effective. I come from a very strong science background, and to be honest, it seemed a little woo-woo to me, if you will. But, I have come to have a tremendous amount of respect and awe at the real power and capabilities of these oils. They truly are medicinal in every sense of the word. So with doTERRA, I think the biggest thing to know about the oils is that quality really matters and makes a huge difference, especially when you're looking to use something as medicine. So doTERRA has it's not the same oil as what you're going to see on store shelves. In fact, if you look at a health food store, it'll say do not ingest or for topical use only. And that's really because the FDA, for better or for worse, it's not regulated what can be put into and what labels have to say on the essential oils. So anyway, it's just something to take caution and be aware of when you're ingesting oils in your body or even putting them on your skin, because think about like nicotine patch, it's transdermal delivery. Things we put on our skin still end up in our bloodstream. Even though we tend to think of it as this impermeable membrane, it's really not. So just know that when it comes to quality, it's really important that you know where your oils are coming from. Sometimes, depending on if you've had, say, tea tree oil that was very irritating to your skin, well, depending on where it's harvested and what time of year, sometimes, depending on the season, it can be very irritating. So, you just kind of have to know. Like, doTERRA is now the largest essential oil company in the world. They've grown to $1 billion company in 6 years, and they have their own way of testing all of their oils. It's a third-party independent testing, and each liter of oil is tested, so there's never, ever, ever any fillers or stabilizers or chemicals added at all. So they're very safe. They also spend twice as much as any other company on sourcing their oils, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little while. So how to use the oils. There's really 3 ways that we use these oils most often. The one that you might be familiar with is aromatic. That one is when you either put it in the palm of your hands and you inhale, or you diffuse it into the air, either through a cool mist diffuser. I've seen USB port diffusers, so people are really loving to diffuse their oils. So that's certainly one way to get it into the body. And some of the oils, diffusing is a great way to wind down at the end of the day. It really does a wonderful thing for affecting your mood and stress levels. And then the other use is topical. My favorite place to apply them topically is the soles of the feet. The soles of the feet, there's actually over 2,000 pores on the soles of the feet, and they're some of the largest pores in the body. So when you apply the oils directly to the soles of the feet, they absorb into your bloodstream very, very quickly. So that tends to be the best place to apply them topically, although there's some oils like peppermint, for instance, which is really cooling. It's great to put on the back of the neck and on the spine. It's great for a hot day or hot flashes, anything like that. It's very invigorating and energizing. So, and then some of them, like the wild orange, I really love the smell of it, and it's a mood lifter, uplifting oil, mood elevating oil, if you will. And so I like to put it, kind of on my neck and wrists, sort of like where you might wear perfume. And the third way that we take the oils is internally. And most of our oils are safe to be ingested. Some of them are very spicy, so something like oregano, for instance, you're going to want to put it into one of those empty gelatin capsules. You can find those at most health food stores. I've even ordered some on Amazon. And so that way, because it's so spicy, you want to get it into the body, but you don't want to burn your mouth or blister your skin. So if you get an oil and it's too concentrated on your skin, you can dilute it with a little bit of coconut oil or olive oil or whatever kind of oil you have. Water won't dilute it. Use oil on oil to dilute it. And you can take them internally like frankincense. I actually enjoy the taste of that. I drop that right in my mouth, a few drops a day. And also, when we put them on the soles of the feet, that is taking them internally as well, because they do absorb that way. So it's a great way. On the soles of the feet is my favorite way to put them on my children, because if they can't, like oregano for instance, I'll dilute it in coconut oil and put it on the soles of the feet if they're sick, and it's a great way to get them. And then of course put socks over them, because it would be terrible if they were to touch their feet and then touch their eye or something like that. But it's a great way to get the oils inside their body. So let's start talking about some of the oils that are great for pregnancy. One of my favorites is called Aroma Touch. This is actually our massage oil, and it's really very relaxing. It's good for those varicose veins. It's good for that afterbirth pain, and it's also been said to be very good for toxemia. We have Balance. Balance is probably, of all the oils, it's my most loved oil. I absolutely love how it makes me feel. It's really great to relieve nervousness. Balance is one of those oils, it will actually reduce the cortisol level in your blood within 30 seconds of applying it on the soles of your feet. You'll start to feel calmer. So anytime I'm doing any kind of public speaking or just, even cooking dinner in my kitchen with a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old running around, right? It can get kind of stressful at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day trying to get everybody out the door. So I put Balance on all of us every morning and every afternoon. Because it's really just an amazing thing for how quickly you feel the stress levels, that cortisol and that hormone running through the bloodstream, you just feel it lower and decrease. And I put it on the children as well, because I think all of us have too much stress in our lives. Even to a newborn baby, the birthing is sort of this traumatic event for them in some ways, right? And in some ways it's a beautiful, wonderful thing, but in others it can be very traumatic and stressful for the baby. So Balance can help diminish some of that cortisol that's floating in the bloodstream. It's also works really good on diaper rash and on your hemorrhoids. You can just sort of dab it on there on a cotton ball or something. Sometimes, again, when you're putting it in that sensitive area, I would dilute it with some coconut oil or MCT oil, that's medium chain triglyceride oil, sort of a concentrated version of coconut, if you will. Clary Sage is another great oil that helps. Now, you have to be careful with this one. You can see there's a caution. It says only after 39 weeks. And that's because it has been known to help induce labor. So, and it also is really great after birth because if you've ever had a child before, you may have noticed or felt those contractions that you get, like when you're breastfeeding and you feel that uterus toning back down and it's sort of pulling everything back into place. Clary Sage is very helpful in that process. So just put it right on the belly, and you can also put it on your ankles, and then, as always, on the bottoms of the feet. Coriander, I really love the smell of this one, although it's kind of a unique smell. But a lot of women suffer with gestational diabetes, so this is something that you can take internally during the pregnancy. It's also very helpful if anyone has menstrual cramps. And it's kind of something you can just apply it right to the abdomen. Again, with the oils, you can always take them internally, either dropping them in your mouth or putting them in an empty capsule. But you can put them on the soles of the feet. But you can also put them on the exact part of your body that is experiencing the pain or discomfort. So Deep Blue is probably one of our most popular oils. It's great for topical pain. It's very soothing. You can kind of think of it like the natural essential oil version of Bengay, right? It's that like muscle soother. So it's great for back labor or sore muscles. It's very cooling. Just be careful. It's kind of one of those cooling oils, so don't get it in your eyes. I wouldn't put it on your eyes or forehead, that kind of thing. But it's very, very soothing on the belly and cooling. It'll cool you off as well. DigestZen. This one is probably one of my favorite oils. It's very helpful to calm the digestive tract. I have had a long history of digestive challenges, and I feel like as soon as I start taking this oil, as soon as I have any issue at all, I put it on there. Actually, one day I got food poisoning. When I very first got this oil, I put it on my belly because I was really curious about it. As a nutrition coach, I do a lot of work with people with digestive trouble. So I really wanted to experience this oil because I'd heard so many great things about it. So I put it on my belly. Well, I didn't notice much. So actually, I started with like 1 drop, and then so I was like, well, that didn't do much. So I put 2 or 3 more drops on, and still, it was kind of cooling, and I could tell it was there, but I wasn't like blown away by it immediately. And then we went to Florida on a vacation, and I ate at the Whole Foods bar, and I got what I know was heading towards a disastrous food poisoning episode. I was starting to have that sweaty, clammy feeling, and really just not, the rumbliness in the stomach, and it was very woozy. It was going to be bad, right? So I grabbed that DigestZen and put it on there. Well, my belly got white hot, like very, very hot. And I honestly thought something might be wrong. So I'm looking at it thinking, is it going to like burn off or something? What is happening here? Because it was like Bengay on steroids. It was so hot. So I go and lay down on the couch and rest for it took maybe 20, 30 minutes. And then it's kind of subsided. And along with, as the oil and the heat intensity subsided, so did all the pain. And I was no longer sick. And I have a friend who's visiting, and she's had horrible morning sickness. And she's been rubbing this on her belly every day, several times throughout the day, just 1 or 2 drops. And she says it's helped tremendously with the morning sickness. She also feels like it helps even more so when she takes it internally. And she'll either just drip it in her mouth, or she puts it in one of those capsules and swallows a capsule, just 3 or 4 drops in a capsule. So Elevation. This one smells divine, and we call it our joyful blend. It's all of the citrus oils, whether it's this one or any of the others that you find really attracted to the smell of. The citrus oils are are mood enhancers. So anytime you're struggling with fatigue or stress or just crankiness, you're exhausted, depression, all of that kind of stuff, the citrus oils, especially the Elevation, as the name implies, are really, really great for that. And it's really, I like to take it in a bath. It's a little bit sweeter citrus smell, but there's also the wild orange is good. There's a lot of citrus oils that are good for that. Frankincense, this is probably said to be the most precious of all the oils. And if we could only choose one oil, which would be very hard to do, but if I could only choose one, it would be frankincense. Frankincense is the master healer. It's actually known as a reconstructive oil. And so what that means is it goes into the cell and actually gets it to reconstructs that cell so that it will perform the function it was meant to perform. And it does that for every cell in the body. So, for instance, something that you might not think of is collagen, like wrinkles, right? And it's popping up in skincare now, and frankincense. And that's because if you put the frankincense on what's a wrinkle is just a collagen cell that's no longer producing collagen. So you put the frankincense on that wrinkle, and it goes in there and gets the cell to either cause apoptosis, which is where the cell dies off and allows a fresh new cell to come in its place and do the job of producing collagen, or it's going to repair that cell and get that cell to working again to producing collagen on its own. So it's a wonderful thing when you start to see those wrinkles pulling out of the face. I actually had a woman, a client, call me. She was very concerned because she had been putting frankincense on one side of her face to treat this fungal infection near one of her eyes, and it was sort of in the area of where crow's feet might be. And she was afraid that it had actually had this Botox paralyzing effect on her face because it looked so dramatically different than the other side. But she had been putting it on there 3 or 4 times a day for about a month. And she started looking and she noticed that one side of her face had a ton of crow's feet, and the other side, it was almost like it had Botox, like it had been pulled out and the wrinkles were significantly reduced. And so she was afraid that it was a negative reaction. And so I just had to explain to her how frankincense works, and that if she were to put it on the other side as well, it would have the same effect. And it was not paralyzing her face. It was actually just regenerating the collagen production in those wrinkle cells. So she was very excited to hear that too. So it's also really wonderful for inflammation. It's just the master healer. It's why it was said to have been given to the Christ child. It's a truly amazing oil. It's one that they recommend that we use internally every day, 3 to 5 drops under the tongue. I actually really enjoy the taste of it, and it would be great for the baby as well. Geranium, it's a very nice smelling oil. I would use this one topically, and if the baby's jaundice, it's really good for you can put it rub it on the soles of the baby's feet. And it's also known to be really good for balancing hormones, even during your pregnancy, but post-pregnancy. And I had a friend who really loved massaging it on the breast when they're sore. In that first trimester, they can get kind of achy, and she said it really did help with that. For grapefruit, grapefruit is a wonderful oil. I love grapefruit because I feel like it helps to boost up my metabolism, and so I don't tend to eat as much. Sometimes I work from a home office, and that lends to snacking all day. So I feel like it normalizes my cravings, and so I think it's a great thing to use even after pregnancy. So it also is really good to cleanse the body and help promote a more healthy pregnancy while you're still pregnant. So, and you can just, it tastes really, really great. So you can just add a couple of drops to your water, kind of stir it up and drink it. Helichrysum is probably to me, it's a very impressive oil. It's, as the name implies, healing. It's very, very healing oil. And, I had a friend who literally chopped her finger very, very deeply, almost to the bone, late at night on a Friday night, and she was slicing a bagel with a serrated knife. And she did not want to go to the ER on a Friday night. She was exhausted, and she had kids, and she's home alone, right? It would have been a very big deal for her to have to go. So she said, I'm going to go in the morning, I'm just going to wrap it. So she put a little bit of something called On Guard on there to kill any of the bacteria and stuff, and then she put a couple drops of helichrysum on it and went to bed. And she got up the next morning preparing to go to the ER, and it was so the wound had closed so much so that she didn't even need stitches anymore. Like it was remarkably closed. It wasn't painful, so she just knew that it was going to be fine, and she doesn't have a scar from it now. So it's really an incredible oil. It's good for the skin, for those stretch marks. I would add it to something and, you know, add it to like your coconut oil, or when I was pregnant I used a lot of olive oil on my belly. I would add the oils to that and rub them in several times a day, because they say everywhere you have an itch is going to be a stretch mark if you scratch it. So instead of scratching it, I would put oils all over my belly, and I didn't get stretch marks, so it did work. But helichrysum is also very helpful for varicose veins, and that can be very painful. And I know a lot of times we get them during pregnancy and they go away after delivery, but not always. So I think it's good to help massage and work on those veins while we're still pregnant. It just helps with our comfort level as well, but increasing the chances that maybe they won't stick around after delivery. So On Guard, I mentioned On Guard a little bit earlier. On Guard is really great for boosting the immune system. It's antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal. There's actually a whole cleaning line devoted to On Guard because it's such a great oil. It's got a really kind of Christmassy smell, and like if you go to like PubMed, for instance, there's a ton of studies on Guard and how it's used to disinfect and clean. For instance, I'll put it in a diffuser if my child's sick, or somebody's sick, and diffuse it, and it will kill all the viruses and bacteria that are in the air, helping to keep us from spreading it. We have a holistic school that uses it. There are hospitals that use it. So it's a great product. You can take it internally, like on strep throat, for instance. You can drip it right down the back of the throat, and it will kill. Studies have proven it kills strep throat, the strep virus. So there's just a lot of ways to take it. I personally use Balance and On Guard on the soles of my feet and my kids' feet every day, both morning and afternoon, because I think it's important for that immune support. And we were on an airplane, and I actually had a woman sitting next to me coughing and coughing and coughing, and so I put some on a tissue and I stuck it up in the air vent above us and just started blowing it down into our seats, and so we didn't get sick. So it is helpful to have on hand. Roman chamomile. So this is great for the baby. It's great to calm and soothe a colicky baby. Just put it right on the bottoms of the feet. Serenity. Serenity is an oil that we refer to it as the calming blend. It's very relaxing. It's a good anxiety. A lot of people say that they sleep amazingly well when they diffuse Serenity into the room at night or put it on the soles of the feet before they go to bed. And for other people, it's lavender that they love, and they swear by lavender and how relaxing it is. And there's some lavender in the Serenity blend. But anyway, so it's just interesting to me how it depends on our body chemistry, on what's going to work for us, right? Like I used to find that ibuprofen worked wonderfully for my headaches, and Aleve did nothing. And so the same is true for some of the oils. We just have to sort of be patient and figure out which ones are going to work for us and our body chemistry, because we all have this unique way in which the oils work for us. And so for me, the lavender actually isn't relaxing, and that's not true. It's relaxing, it just doesn't help me to sleep. Because I tend to have this monkey mind, right? That's what the yogis would call it, where it's sort of pinging all the time. It's very I'm always working on multitasking and too many things going, and so it's more an issue if I tend to sleep well. So what I found was actually the ADD protocol of oils called vetiver, V-E-T-I-V-E-R. Vetiver and cedarwood are by far the most relaxing to me. It's not something I want to take during the day because I enjoy my multitasking and productivity, right? I don't want to decrease that. I don't want to be totally blissed out all day. Well, some days I do, but not work days. But I do love it at night. I do it every evening on the soles of my feet and on my family's feet, and we do mix lavender. The official ADD is vetiver, cedarwood, and lavender, but I removed the lavender for myself. And it's a wonderful combination, and that's what works for me. So it's interesting, what works for some may be okay, but then something else may be wonderful. So it's fun to experiment. So the 4 most commonly recommended and used in pregnancy, if you're really trying to narrow it down, would be the lavender, lemon, peppermint, and citrus bliss. So the lavender, like I said, is very relaxing. It's very safe. The single blends are very easy to use on the babies. And so it's something, there's tons of, and this is because it's such a great pure quality of an oil, it's very, very safe. I would caution you about the over-the-counter baby products sold with so much lavender. Most of those are synthetic, and in fact it only has to have 1 drop of pure essential oil in it to be labeled 100% pure essential oil. So the labels can be very tricky, so I would just be cautious with with where your sourcing is coming from when you're purchasing products with essential oils or fragrance or anything like that in them, because fragrance is actually very toxic. Lemon is wonderful. So the most important thing that I think to know about lemon, first of all, is if you're going to drink it internally, be sure to put it in a glass, like a glass bottle or a glass of water, or stainless steel. Don't put it in plastic, because it actually breaks down chemicals, which is a wonderful thing. It breaks down chemicals in the body. It's great for detoxing and pushing out chemicals, but it's very, very gentle, so it's very safe during pregnancy and for babies and all of that. But for instance, if you put 1 drop on styrofoam, it will burn a hole in the styrofoam. So you really have to be careful about putting it in a plastic water bottle, for instance, because although it might taste delicious, you probably don't want to be liquefying your plastic bottle and drinking that as well. So I would make sure you mix it with glass. Peppermint is another oil that I love. I think I talked to you a little bit earlier, but it's wonderful for energy, upset stomach. You can actually put a little drop of peppermint on your thumb and then rub it on the roof of your mouth, and that will really, really pop open those sinuses. So it's very helpful for congestion and allergies and things of that nature. So I would definitely try peppermint. And then I like peppermint on the back of my neck. Like I said, it'll help bring down a fever right away. Within 5 to 10 minutes, it can start lowering a fever. Put it on the forehead or on the spine over there on the back of the neck. If you do put it on the forehead, be careful around the eyes, especially on children. It tends to be kind of like burn the eyes. It's very strong. It's kind of like the effect that onion has on your eyes, right? It's that instant watering sensation. And if that happens, if you get it too close to an eye, just dilute it with oil. And then the 4th one is Citrus Bliss. That one smells divine. My daughter says that it smells like an orange dreamsicle. So it's a very great uplifting oil, very mood elevating oil. So, and I didn't realize I had the slide. So we'll quickly, I think I talked through a lot of this. So some things I didn't mention. Lavender also helps with circulation and reducing those false labor pains. Those can really, really be not only uncomfortable, but very stressful at that point in pregnancy, because it can send you to the ER and you have to be sent home, and many nights lost sleep as a result of that. So it's really great. Lavender is very relaxing for that. It's also handy to have if you have any burns. It's wonderful for bug bites and stings or burns from whatever might be, a hot pan or a curling iron or something to that effect. And lavender and frankincense, you can actually put it in your feminine pads, and it's really helpful to promote healing right after delivery. Just put a few drops in there, and as it's held, as that presses against you in that area, it does work very well to help promote healing fast, to speed up the rate of healing in that area. Okay, the lemon we talked about, but it's also great for water retention and swelling. Anyhow, you can also take it in gel caps if you don't like to drink it, but the taste is very pleasant. It's not sour at all. It tastes more like the way a really fresh lemon rind smells. I know a lemon rind doesn't taste at all like it smells, but the lemon oil to me tastes a lot like the rind smells. So. Peppermint we talked about, so that's also one that is often used for nausea and morning sickness, headaches. It's really good. You can put it right on the forehead, and you can kind of put it as the headache moves around the head and on the scalp, on the back of the neck, the crown, the base of the neck. It's very cooling to the head, so it's really helpful for headaches. If the peppermint doesn't work for a headache, most often the next go-to would be try something called past tense. We have another oil that's past tense. It's our tension blend. And just like the Aleve and ibuprofen thing I mentioned earlier, for some people peppermint works wonders, and for others they swear by past tense. So I know when you get a headache in pregnancy, it's never fun because you really don't want to have to take medication, and there's a lot of warnings against Tylenol and Aleve and ibuprofen. They're all pretty toxic. So definitely it's nice to have the peppermint oil or the past tense to grab when that situation arises. And the nausea and morning sickness is never fun. We also have a ginger oil that can help with that. But peppermint does help. It's very soothing to the stomach. And you can take it internally, but you can also rub it on there right away. So Citrus Bliss, we mentioned, it smells divine. It's very energizing. It's one of those antidepressant type oils. Okay, so I put together a few things here for us, and these are just some symptoms that come up frequently in pregnancy, and some specific oils that you could try to help mitigate those symptoms. So for sore breasts, we talked about geranium. You can also put lavender on there and just massage it on the location. You can also do Roman chamomile. That's another good one if you've got some of that to massage on there. For constipation, I find that the Digest Zen is a great one for that. The Digest Zen, I have someone who has chronic irritable bowel, and she also has had a severe case. She's 5. She's also had a severe case of bowel obstruction. And so she's working very diligently on healing her gut. And every day she puts Digest Zen on her belly, and it helps her to have a bowel movement. And so, frequent bowel movements are, because she'll have one almost within 10 minutes of applying it to the stomach. So I think frequent bowel movements are a great way to keep pushing out the toxins, keep your system moving, keep you feeling energized. If you'll take notice, if you start to feel really tired and sluggish, look and see if your bowels are also being sluggish and you're somewhat constipated, because it often has a direct correlation in terms of your energy level. So if you feel a little bit of depression, and also even as a prenatal vitamin, probably the best thing is something called the Lifelong Vitality Pack. And I know I didn't put a slide up here, but it's really, really important. The Lifelong Vitality Pack is actually a trio of supplements. And it's sort of like upgrading your vitamins and it has the essential oils in it. So it's truly our #1 selling product. And so they have this crazy high standard for quality and effectiveness. And so now, I was a little skeptical when they first came out with the vitamin, if the oils were so great, are they just trying to get in on the supplement business? What was going on? So I didn't order them right away, but I kept hearing people talk about the supplements and how much energy they had, and that it was the #1 selling product. And I'm thinking, well, there are so many that are incredible. How, it must be truly remarkable. So, and people were talking about memory and thyroid and brain cognition and pregnancy and hair and skin and nails and all of that. So I decided to try them, and it was absolutely great. Now it's probably the first supplement line that I take regularly, and when I miss a day or two, I notice. I feel more fatigued, and I feel tired, and I just feel off, and I notice that I've ran out, or I traveled and I forgot to take them. So, and normally, I just take a multivitamin because I know I'm supposed to, right? But I do feel the effects of these. And it's a trio of supplements. It's called the Lifelong Vitality Pack. The first one is a whole food vitamin, and then it has an omega, so it has your essential fatty acids in there. And then there's a cellular energy blend as the third pack. And you just take 2 of each bottle, so that's 2, 4, 6 capsules in the morning and 6 capsules in the afternoon or evening. I like mine in the afternoon because I kind of like the extra energy that it gives me. It's not too much energy that I wouldn't sleep if I took it at night, but I like a little kick of energy in the afternoon, so I tend to take it with breakfast and lunch. And then the other thing for depression is frankincense. Frankincense is very well known and a really great oil to use when that seems to be a struggle. So the grounding blend that it's referring to there, that was the Balance. And Balance is that one that I call my happy drop. It's the one that lowers your stress hormones. So for fatigue, again, go with the citrus. You'll notice a lot of them are citrus-based, the citrus oils and the peppermint. For high blood pressure, the geranium and lemongrass is really amazing. People have like high cholesterol, and instead of like trying the medication or something, they'll go on this and give it a couple of weeks and go back and get retested. And I've heard it from at least 3 people in the last few months that the geranium and lemongrass was amazing for that. So if you're having high blood pressure issues in pregnancy, a combination of some lavender and geranium and lemongrass and the ylang-ylang would be very helpful. There's actually a little, you can see in the bath water and the protocol right there. For the nausea and vomiting, we talked about the ginger and peppermint. For sleep, we've talked about the serenity and lavender. Stretch marks, the anti-aging. So we have this roll-on called Immortelle. and it's really, really amazing. It has the helichrysum and the frankincense and rose oil in it, and a lot of women love it and men love it on their like on the face. I use it on my face, on the crow's feet or wherever I might be prone to wrinkles. For me, I tend to get that deep line right between my brows from my constant need for concentration. So that's a great roller that you could use for stretch marks as well. And then for swelling, definitely drink more water, but add some, of the massage blend, add some lemon, things like that. That'll be very helpful. Okay, so for delivery specifically, for contractions, so you want to look at the clary sage, which we've talked about, myrrh, geranium, and lavender. So if you have those, make a little topical mixture, or apply the myrrh and clary sage topically just to help improve that stalled labor. For energy, while you're during delivery, that would be some Roman chamomile, geranium, and lavender. You can just massage that right into the skin. For your episiotomy, I would go with geranium on there. Massage it right on the perineum. For hemorrhaging, helichrysum. So anytime you have to heal an open wound like that, you want to think helichrysum. For pain, basil is actually very, very effective at pain. Basil and black pepper both are really great at helping relieve pain during labor. For perineum support, helichrysum, again, is a wonderful for that area. And preterm labor, 1 to 3 drops on the stomach of lavender. To tone the uterus, we talked about the clary sage, and if you're in transition, basil, because that is the pain oil, so it will help bring down the pain of transition. So just 1 to 2 drops on the temples or abdomen. Obviously, you probably want to give those instructions to someone who is by your side and helping you during transition to know to grab the basil and help you through that. So, and then post-pregnancy, some women have breast soreness, so we talked about the geranium there, but you can also use sandalwood and myrrh. For the C-section scars, again, that's the Immortelle. The anti-aging blend is referring to the Immortelle. So this is kind of important. A lot of women ask this question to increase milk production. So you want to look for fennel, basil, clary sage, and geranium. And apply them right on the breast undiluted. Just massage it into the tissue, but avoid the nipple. And then mastitis. Mastitis can be that's a breast infection, and that can be very, very painful. And it often just shows up as a small red spot on the breast. And sometimes when they're large with milk, it's hard to see the whole breast. So a lot of times women don't know until they spike a fever or they start feeling bad. And they go to the doctor, and the doctor finds the lump or the red spot that's mastitis. So you can use undiluted on the breast again, and then rub it into the lymph nodes under the armpit, a combination of melaleuca, clove, lavender, and rosemary to try that. And then we talked about perineum support. Frankincense and lavender is great for that. I would put it in a little spray bottle after delivery because that area is so sensitive. I would just put it in a little bitty spray bottle and spray it on there after birth to soothe it. And again, the clary sage to tone the uterus and help pull it back in. Okay? So those are those oils. So now let's talk about a couple of ways. A lot of people have questions about, what do the oils cost? How do we get the oils? So doTERRA has a really great program. It's kind of like, for those of you who have oils you're wanting to try, you think of it like Costco. It's very similar to Costco. It's a $35 membership fee, and then you get everything at wholesale price. And in order to keep the wholesale pricing, all you have to do is buy one item every year. And doTERRA actually has kits, and that's just where the oils are already bundled. So if you get one of those kits, then the fee, that $35 fee, gets waived, and you don't have to pay the membership fee. You just automatically get the 25% off wholesale price. And the kits are bundled together just to give you a greater discount than like if you were buying individual oils. So you'll see that there's, you can add the oils up and figure out, well, that's the little green bubble there that says save $34.50. That's what you're saving by buying the bundled kit, and plus the $35 enrollment fee that's being waived. So that's helpful. And a lot of times you'll find that you really want a kit, and then there are a few oils that maybe aren't in the kit, so you want to throw a couple extra, or you might want to put those on something called loyalty rewards. I'll talk about that in just a second. So let me show you what is on the screen now. This is the Family Physician kit, and it comes with a free bottle of Slim and Sassy. That's a very energizing blend. So the Family Physician kit, it's kind of like the family, like the emergency kit, right? You get the 10 oils, and so that is, you get lavender, lemon, peppermint, melaleuca, oregano, frankincense, deep blue, breathe, digescen, and on guard. These are probably our 10 most common and popular oils, plus the Slim and Sassy, which is the #1 most popular oil. And it's $150 for the kit, plus it comes with a 6-week education internship so that you learn how to use all the oils, right? Because that's frustrating when you order a kit and then you get the oils and you crack them open and you don't know what to do for what, right? So it does come with some education to learn how to use them and what to use for what. Quickly, before I go through the next couple kits, let me show you something that I mentioned a second ago, the Loyalty Rewards Program. So at the top of the screen, you see this rainbow, colorful graph that says, or chart that says Loyalty Rewards Program. And so this is something that you are probably going to want to know about because it will save you a ton of money. It's kind of like a frequent flyer program. With doTERRA, it's 100 points per month, which is about equal to $100. So do you see this little purple kind of and gray box right here? This first little box that says months 1 to 3. What that means is that for the first 3 months that you're doing that 100 points per month, you're going to get 10% back in free products. So that means that for every $100 you buy, you're going to get $10 back in free product credits, and you can redeem them anytime you want. They'll just show up in your cart, in your account, the next month you log in. And remember, you're already getting 25% off of retail because you're signing up for wholesale accounts. So this is an additional 10% off of that. Then the next 3 months it goes up to 15%, the next 3 months 20, and then 25, and then after your first year it goes up to 30%. So that means that for every $100 you buy, you're going to get $30 back in free product credits just for you to redeem anytime you want. You're still going to get that 25% off retail, and now this is an additional 30% off. I mean, wouldn't that be cool? Like if Whole Foods would do this, like every time I went shopping and I spent $100, they gave me a $30 gift card. That would be great. Okay, so I wanted you to know about the program because as we talk about kits, you may find that you want the kit, but it doesn't have 1 or 2 oils that you want, and so sometimes it's very easy to just throw the extra oils that you want on your LRP order, that Loyalty Rewards order, for the following month. Okay. So the next kit that they have is called the Home Essentials Kit. It has frankincense, lavender, lemon, melaleuca, oregano, peppermint, digescen, on guard, deep blue, past tense, and breathe. Now, the difference, basically, the only difference between this kit and this one is that this kit has the smaller 5 milliliter bottles. A 5 milliliter bottle has about 83 to 84 drops in a bottle on average. This has almost all the 15 milliliter bottles, which have about 250 drops in a bottle. So basically, for $100 more, you're getting 3 times the amount of oil because they're the same oils, right? The only ones that are still the small bottles in this Home Essentials Kit is the frankincense and the deep blue, because frankincense is a very, very precious and expensive oil, and deep blue only comes in those small 5 mils. The other difference between the 2 kits is that this one comes with the Slim and Sassy oil. This one comes with a past tense oil as its extra, but otherwise all the other oils are the same. And this kit is $250. So again, it's $100 more for 3 times the amount of oil. The next kit is called the Family Wellness Kit. This is really great if you have an interest in trying the supplements that I mentioned that are really, I would definitely recommend them as a prenatal vitamin, as to upgrade your prenatal vitamins, because again, they have the essential oils in them and they're incredibly high quality vitamins. So it comes with that Lifelong Vitality Pack, and then it also comes with a Family Physician Kit. So that first kit that I showed you with the smaller bottles of lavender, lemon, peppermint, melaleuca, oregano, frankincense, deep blue, breathe, digescen, and on guard, that is in there. You also get the past tense roller, which is the tension one that a lot of people love for headaches. I just put it on my shoulders almost every afternoon after I've been sitting at a computer for a while. It's very cooling. I really love it. It also comes with 2 bottles of the foaming hand wash, and it comes with a little bit of the fractionated coconut oil. What that is that's something that we often use to dilute the oils, because if you use like regular coconut oil, it tends to be kind of thick and it doesn't absorb that quickly, and especially it gets even thicker in cool weather. So the fractionated coconut oil, it's much thinner and it absorbs very quickly. It has more of a consistency of MCT oil, so I would look. It's nice to have on hand. Okay, the Natural Solutions Kit is probably it's probably the most popular, and it tends to be the best for most households because you get a lot of the oils that you want to try and you get the supplements. So you get the 5 milliliter bottles of Serenity, Digestin, Purify, Melaleuca, Oregano, Aroma Touch, Frankincense, Breathe, and Balance. And then you get the bigger bottles of Lavender, Lemon, Peppermint, On Guard, Slim and Sassy, TerraShield, which is the bug repellent, and Lemongrass. But it also comes with the Lifelong Vitality supplements, Zendicrine capsules. These are fabulous for helping the liver, kidney, and skin perform their function. So I love to take them if I feel tired and sluggish, if I've eaten poorly and I know that my body's got some toxicity building up. The Zendicrine is very helpful for trying to detox that out of me. Terrazyme is super great. It's a digestive enzyme. It's basically doTERRA's digestive enzyme, and it's something that would really be beneficial for you to take with every meal so you get the most nutrition out of your food. The Clear Skin Foaming Face Wash is nice to try. The On Guard Toothpaste, I really love that. The Deep Blue Rub, so it's the same as the Deep Blue Oil, but it comes in two forms. There's the oil, and then there's this rub that's sort of like a lotion base. And many people feel that they both work equally in terms of intensity, but the rub may have a bit more staying power. So, and then I have another one who's a big CrossFitter, and she loves CrossFit, so she often has a lot of sore muscles. And she actually likes to put the oil, the Deep Blue Oil on first, and then she tops that off with the Deep Blue Rub to sort of drive the oil even down deeper and make it a more concentrated dose on there. So you also get the fractionated coconut oil, you get some sample vials. Those are nice to fill and take with you in your purse, so you have these little smaller vials to carry around with you in your purse. You get a great diffuser, so you can diffuse that around your room, your house, your office, and a wooden box to carry them in. And it also comes with a few 10 milliliter bottles of Past Tense, that tension blend we talked about, something called Clear Skin, which is another roller bottle that's great for the skin, and Clary Calm. And then we have an oil sharing kit. This is great if you have someone, like you want to share this with some friends and family. This is, because you get several bottles of some of the most common oils. So if you have friends and family member that you are going to want to give them some to try, then this is a great kit for that because you get big bottles. So these are all the 15 milliliter bottles, unless otherwise noted. They're all the big bottles that have 250 drops in each bottle. So you get 3 bottles of some, like the Lavender, Melaleuca, Breathe, and Deep Blue, Digestin, and On Guard. You're getting 3. You're getting 2 bottles of the Frankincense, Lemon, Wild Orange, Aroma Touch, Balance, Past Tense, Slim and Sassy. So there's a lot there that you're going to get to try. Plus you get the coriander and grapefruit, Citrus Bliss that we talked about as one of the most common and important for pregnancy. So, and let's see, I think I told you about the LRP. So before we end, really quickly, I want to take 2 minutes, and I really will just take 2 minutes on this because we often have a lot of practitioners that join us that want to know how the business side of this works, but it's also helpful for patients to know as well. So I just want to run through this very quickly. I know this is not a business class, but there are still 2 reasons I really like to share this with you. First of all, because there are a few of you who are interested in the business, and secondly, because in my experience, what I have found is that as you learn how to use the essential oils, you will share them. Because when the oils work for your migraine, what do you think you're going to do when your friend or sister or grandma comes to you with a migraine? You're going to say, oh my gosh, you have to try these oils. So it's helpful for you to understand just a little bit about how this works, okay? So you see on this sheet here, on this image, it shows these tiny little people, and it's right in the middle of the page. So the little blue person right here, that's going to be, this little blue person is you, and you've shared this oil with 3 people who want to do that 100 points a month thing, the LRP program. Now you're going to be getting a $50 bonus, and that's each month, right? And then once each of these orange guys have shared these oils with 3 people who each want to do that 100 points a month thing, you're at a $250 bonus, which is awesome because now it's more than covering what you're wanting to buy every month. So you're essentially getting natural health care, natural medicine for free, right? And so then once each of those 9 purple people have shared it with 3 people each who want to do that $100 a month, now you're at $1,500 a month bonus. And for most households, that is a significant increase to their finances. Now, whether you're interested in building a business or not, as you share the oils with people and they want to purchase the oils, I just want to help make sure that we structure it the right way for you so that you're the one who gets the benefit. So it's helpful for you to understand the way it works, even if you're not in it for the business. Okay? So that's all for the moment. If you have any questions, we're going to wrap the class there. Feel free to shoot me an email. You can, I think I sent most of you all an email inviting you to this class, and I'll send out the recording to this as well. You can contact me, Christy Flynn, at cflynn@me.com, or you can reach out to any of your Jody or Eve or anyone that you've spoken with at NIA. Okay, thank you so much.